over this main table will be reducing when you maintain the relationship, when you give a ownership to your child. Okay, in this in our example also we'll talk about the same. We took in another example, and okay, we divided into 3 layers, and another is presentation layer. And okay, first we design entity. Okay, and this is a one-to-one relationship I'm talking right now. Okay, first create one entity, and while creating entity, okay, there are okay, you can see also this. Okay, what type of annotations you can represent. Okay, I can explain in this very detail. Okay, while designing entity, you should have keep in mind. Okay, you should give, you want to give your class name as a table, you don't need to specify anything. And when you are trying to give this is the entity relation entity, you have to specify each and every class in JPA. And then okay, Spring will understand this is an entity, and it will perform JPA operations accordingly. And when you give the name, it could be any name, you can give it this table. And okay, this is a common annotation in a okay, to give a good name. And it could be any class. Okay, and at present I took it as a diary. Diary is a class. Okay, diary, when you try to give one diary, one location I want to give. Okay, I have given as a one location as a one-to-one relationship. And see here, you can have a number of strategies like to generate the unique identification key. I just used a simple strategy in generated value. It will be it is recommended for many databases, and you can generate whatever data you need. Yeah, when okay, yeah, first thing, keep in mind, okay, what table I have to create and what relationship I have to do it. That is a keep in mind. And just I want to make one-to-one relationship at this moment. I'm considering it as a location is one-to-one entity, one-to-one relationship for this one. Suppose for example, where you are from. Okay, that is the one. Diary is a main class. And okay, and I'm not making it as a owner. Okay, just this is you already know about a column structure, right? Just you have to specify at the rate of column annotation. This column annotation will internally look into when JPA trying to create a table structure and use this name. Okay, these are also not a mandatory. If you don't use it, okay, it will automatically directly with the class names it will create. That is a JPA will do internally. And here I'm trying to create one additional class, location. Okay, and while creating the location, and I will try to give whatever the necessary fields here the same way how I defined for the main data entity class. Okay, and see here, how do I keep relationship. Okay, here I'm making it as a one-to-one relationship, and fetch type will be lazy. And okay, by default it will be the for one to one it is an eager. Okay, and if I want to make it as a lazy, and I can make it as a lazy, and just I forcefully I make it as a lazy. And the cascade type, which type of operations while performing the while performing the persistence operations, what type of operations you want to make. And while retrieving the what type of operations you can make it as you can do it. There are a couple of operations, and persistence and merge and remove and fetch and detach. Okay, and these are the complex relationship when you are dealing with the multiple entries, and multiple people are using the same entry at the time. You can use this cascade type. And normal relationship, okay, it will be the cascade relation, cascade all. You can perform all type of operations, and these operations will be controlled by the JPA. And whenever it is persisting, it will look for this cascade type, and based on that it will perform the operation. And mapped by, okay, and okay, what relation should what I have to pass to this one. This location is a class. Okay, and which class I have to map. Okay, when you try to do mapping any class name, okay, any class name, it will be converted into small letter characters. Okay, and use that class name as a it will uses that class name internally, and it will map accordingly. Okay, the location is a class, and when you try to use mapped by, and then it will decide, okay, which mapping I have, which it will understand which mapping I am going to use. Okay, which mapping I am going to perform. Okay, then the relationship already I started establishing. Okay, I'm just specifying, hey location, I want to make a relationship with you, and this is a one-to-one relationship. I am passing these parameters, and which class I'm going to map with you is just diary class. Okay, now I specified the proper relationship, and I will go to the location. Now 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 I have to make ownership. Who is going to owner? Who is going to owner is a matter here, because you can make the main class as a owner, but I always not prefer to do that one, because if you make it the relationship owner over here, many tables will have to be relationship with the master table, correct, right? And in such a case, here I will make the relationship, I will make it as a owner. And here when I specify join by column, there are different ways is there, and we can discuss in this way of relationship in later point of time. And one of the relationship is join by column. If when you specify at the rate of join by column, what will happen, it will be trying to make this class is a owner, location is a owner for this relationship, and who is the master. That means who is the main class. Okay, we can specify diary is the main class here. Diary is the main class, and I'm trying to make relationship here with this diary. That means in child you are making representation for master entity entry. Okay, for example, if you go for clear understanding, just I will give you this an example. Diary and okay, and just I will take only two fields, and diary id id, and just what the field it is there, just one field I can take it. Content, yeah, content. And this another one is location table, and location id, and another one is location location okay, geo id. Okay, for example, geographical id, and this is 90 degrees for example, and this is 90 degrees, 91 degrees for second relationship. And here when I okay, content is first diary content. Yeah, in this, and this is a one d, I can give it as a d1 and a d2, then it will be understand if you have another multiple relationships, d3. And yeah, okay, and I can also specify this is for d1 and this is for d2. Okay, and yeah, Okay, when you see internally, it will be happening like this. When you select star from diary, only you can see diary 1, D1, D2, D3 entries, and you can see. And when you try to do relationship with this one, okay, how do it will relationship? How do we do it internally? When you select star from location, always here spelling mistake is there where you can consider. Okay. Mm, always you have to specify where condition with way which master table you are going to make a relationship. Then, okay, always you will perform your main operations on child tables and to avoid a burden on master table. Master table will be always be used only when it is trying to store the common information, okay, related to the master table. Okay, for example, it is a simple one-to-one relationship. You are not seeing any complexity. And if you have a multiple tables, okay, diary location is there, address is there, and some events were there, and event is there, and so many relationships were there. If you keep on adding, suppose if you make this is a owner, for example, I will make it as a red color. Okay, if it is a red owner, okay, this is one table one, I can we already decided you will have it. We don't have any relationship over here, correct, right? And this is a table 2. For example, I have this is a table 1 relationship, and this is a table 2 relationship. uh, okay, I can make it as a, this one is another table, and this can is another table. Okay, this is a tb, and this one is a table 1. Okay, if the tables are growing, if you make the ownership, okay, the owner will be grow. Okay, then the fat, it will become fat, and whenever you are performing the large operations, it will break. Okay, to avoid such a situation, you can make it as a owner. Okay, here you can make it as a owner, and that to the simplification also. When you do the normalization, the simplification is very easy. Okay, and then the relationship, whenever you need it, only those particular two tables only affected, two classes only will be affected. When you design this application, okay, you should keep in mind stating that the ownership is always will be the child table. Then the complexity will be reduced, and that is okay, you can perform your relationship very good manner. That is the main message I'm trying to convey over here. Okay, and that's why I started. Okay, just one simple example. Location is a common example, which country you belongs to, and which longitude, latitude, and what is the user location you are from. And that is a diary. You can perform n number of events, n number of entities. Okay, you can have a one entity, one relationship, and one to one relationship will have it. And here the main point, okay, the location, when who mm, who is the owner is a matter. By using this join column, which column you are going to add, okay, then that uh, okay, wherever this join by column is present, that will be the owner, and you can make it as a vice versa. Okay, always will be okay, some rare cases we will have a bidirectional mapping. Okay, here also it is one okay, bidirectional. You can save all your operations in through the diary. Yeah. And next point is the repository. When you okay, second point is I created a entity, and I made it as a one-to-one relationship in a simple way. Okay, I will let you know how simply we can configure in another 2 minutes. Okay, and the repository, and okay, this is the one repository. It is going to interact with the database, okay, directly. The entity, just it is a table, and which table it belongs to. When you create a diary is a master, and you always prefer a master table as a relationship. Okay, here you always has to specify your relationship. Okay, your master class, and okay, you can also have child classes if you want to perform an individual child okay, child tables you want to store individually. You can also have a number of repositories with the child also. There is no restrictions over here, but only always I prefer to have a through the master class. I always prefer to store relationship. Okay, here JPA repository is one of the repository. You can see, okay, there are a lot of predefined methods were there. This interface will support, okay, okay, to perform all these operations. Okay, you can have a you can have a other classes also. Okay, like here if you see, pagination and sorting also repository were there internally, and if you are using this repository, that is enough, pretty much enough. JPA repository, it will be pagination and sorting also, it will be coming along with this, and you can override those methods. In this method, just I want to say one simple relationship: find a diary by ID. Okay, how do we find that ID? And here while making relationship JPA repository, and you have to specify here only one thing you have to specify. You have to specify your master class over here, and master class ID, which type it is belongs to it, whether it is a unique ID as an integer, okay, or it is a string, or it is something else. You have to specify over here. Then okay, based on this, our relationship and our operations in here, it will be different. Okay, now I designed and you have to specify as a repository to understand the Spring Boot, which one is going to perform the direct interaction with the database. Now I specified this as a repository, and now JPA can understand which is the repository which is going to store it. Second,
Madhav, I have one question. Madhav,
yeah.
I have one question.
Yes, please.
Yeah, suppose if I want to add one more method here,
okay,
so that will take a parameter of a string type or an object type.
Okay.
Okay. So then we need to change, because here passing diary and integer. So if I want to pass the string object or any object, user defined object, then how could I define here?
Yeah. See here if you say string, if you specify here, okay, now the operation will be not integer. Okay, it should be always string. You have to specify the relationship. Okay, when you are ID is not only integer, right? Okay, it sometimes unique key, sometimes it will be a long, sometimes it will be a string, sometimes it will be a multiple characters. Okay, it is mixed up. Okay, that relationship you have to specify over here. Then yeah, okay, then if it is a string and you have to do your generated here it is a generated value, right? Just if you see the generated value, simple annotation, you write your custom annotation, and to return the particular code to the here, and you make it as a string. Okay, and then okay, automatically it will come as a string value. And if you want to make it as an object or multiple things you want to do it, and you can also do it, it is free to have it. And okay, I think I never saw the object. Okay, I saw the string, and I saw the, because we do in okay.
Yeah, generally it will be integer only, because
generally it is integer. I saw the string and some other okay composite keys also, but I never saw the object kind of thing. But it is very rare to use it. But I don't know the complexity how it is. But at this time I cannot confirm you whether we can use a custom object or not, because the relationship will be very tough if you use your customization. Okay, because we are using some other repositories, right? You are using JPA repository. JPA's repository always will understand easy matters, like okay, it is an integer, and see comparable, it is a number, right? It is an extension, it is a number. Then it is easy to them to make a relationship. Okay, if you are making it as a complex relationship kind of objects, you have to investigate, and you have to do it. And you have a free choice, like it is a string, you can also use the string value. There is no restriction. Okay, you can use the string over here, and based on that, the operation will be performed over here.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, second thing you here I discussed about the 2 points. Just I'm briefing because it was some discussion happened, right? Just to make a simple relationship, you have to create a table, and you have to make a relationship, and you have to make your child as a owner. And second thing, you have to you have to use one repository to store your entire operations into the database. That means entire DB operations you want to perform, you need to have a one repository. I always prefer to have a one repository for master class, and this is a diary master class, and whatever the type you are specifying as an ID, at this moment I can make it as an integer. Okay, I can make it as an integer literal. Okay, it could be not only integer, it could be a string or something, the combination of string, it could be anything. And you can also customize your annotation, and you can also generate your own sequences as well. If you are using Oracle DB, you can also generate the sequence, and that sequence could be literal, like a string of values, string with combination of values. And then, okay, these are the main relationship you have to specify. Then only you can easily perform the operations for the find. And you can see along with this find by, see, this is my custom override. Okay, and okay, if you want to use, okay, by default methods, you can you can freely use these all values, like find all with sort value, find all by ID, save all. These are the common methods already available. You can directly use in your DAO implementations. Yeah. Second point, see, yeah, it seems to be I'm a bit deviating myself. Okay, just I will try to give one point, and then we will have a discussion, because I'm forgetting. Last time also I forgot to explain something. And see, the thing is like, second thing. Okay, when you first I always prefer to define your entity, and then your repository, and then comes to DAO. Okay, what's DAO do? DAO layer is an additional layer. Okay, you can also feel free to directly you can use repository. Okay, when debugging or exception handling, everything you want to handle it is by your own yourself. Then it is always to have a DAO layer, and in DAO layer we will have an okay, your customized methods and customized exception handling. Here I don't use any exception handling. I have not used any exception handling. Okay, if you want to do your customization exceptions, and you want to do some more operations like validations and okay, server side validations, everything you can do it from over here. Okay, before going to here, and just I want to do okay, this diary is a master class, and I will try to create one interface for each and every diary. Diary is a master class. I always talking about the master class relationship, and the entities and the DAOs, and all will talk about the master class. And here diary is one of the DAO. I'm going to perform diary operation, and it could be a number of tables. If you see this diary at this moment, 1 to 1, there may be a number of relationships like this. Okay, so like test 1 or test 2, test 3, a number of relationship. All the relationships, when you specify, when you write one DAO class, it will talk about all the relationship, all child relationships. Okay, and here, this is my customization methods. Okay, you can use your own methods, like save diary, and okay, retrieve all diaries, and okay, any name you can give it. But the thing is like the concept. Okay, okay, you can define your own method in here. Okay, because we are using Spring, and when Spring tries to do dependency injection, it will be easy to them to have a interfaces. Okay, that's the reason just we are choosing as an interface, or else you can directly class, you can use it your just trying to learn. Okay, without having this architecture. Okay, this is one way of representation. Okay, you can use DAO layer, and if you don't want to use a DAO layer, you can directly use a repository in the, already repeated last few minutes back. And if you don't want, if you want to, you continue with the DAO layer, and DAO layer also you can directly write a class. But my preference is like, it is a Spring Boot application. You have an interface, and then you will have a implementation. Okay, this implementation, when you do it, when you do it, this is your custom methods. Okay, you will free feel to write it, and just what we do is I auto-wide already defined repository, and just I am trying to use this repository over here. Okay, just I'm performing save operation, just I'm doing the create diary, just is my method, and I'm doing the save operation over here. Okay, save operation, it is already defined by the CRUD repository, just I am using that one. Okay, and find by id, find by diary id, find by diary by id is a my method, just for customization. Suppose you want to write your customization, and suppose you want to do you want to use your custom features, then you can have a find by id, and okay, it will also okay, just it is an interface, okay, for your customization, and to make it as an optional value, and to make sure that you can perform and validate before going to populate or some operation, do some operations. Okay, here I covered 2 points in this. The main point is um, yeah, you can feel free to use any method name. Okay, and second thing, and if you are using repository, and you have to auto-wire your repository to use that in repository, and you can feel free to use your already CRUD repository methods, or else you can also use your custom own method. Like you can override your method with this optional diary. Okay, to make sure that okay, Java 8 optional feature you can use it, and make sure that there is no any exception from there, you can validate it. Okay, yeah. Yeah, before going to configuration and other things, presentation layer, just you have any questions, please ask. Okay, I can try to answer these questions.
So Madhav, you have used JPA. So if we go with some ORM tool like Hibernate and all, so what is that benefit? Why people go with ORM rather than going with JPA?
See, if you are designing new Scratch application, okay, I always prefer with the Spring JPA, because you are using Spring features. Okay, and if it is a Spring JPA, they can easily understand what is happening, and your debugging also will be easy. Suppose you are migrating old applications, you have a ORM already there in a Spring Boot application, you already designed it. Okay, you want to use the same application, just copy pasting those entities and repositories. Okay, at the time you need to have a, someone is sharing. Okay, just resuming them again. Yeah, here the point is very clear. Okay, if you are using Spring JPA, why I used to have a Spring JPA? You are using Spring Boot, and they know which version is opt for this latest feature, and which version it is. If you are using your own ORM, and you have to customize, you have to write your configuration, and you have to maintain your, again you have to maintain your what is dependencies. Okay, I always prefer to have simple relationship, and if you are writing new application in a Spring Boot, go ahead with the Spring. Just it is a suggestion. Okay, it is not a mandatory, it is a suggestion. Okay, if you already have a legacy applications, okay, you are migrating to the Hibernate to here, you are free to use the same JPA repositories over here. At the time you need to have a little configurations. Okay, you cannot opt all features given by the Spring framework.
Agree.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Madhav, I have one
Yes,
question. Like, which one is better at from the performance point of view, either ORM or JPA?
see, it's a very tricky question. Okay, it's okay, if you are making simple relationships, okay, JPA is the one better. If you are making complex relationships and maintaining legacy applications, okay, I prefer ORM.
Yeah, Madhav, I can answer this question because I have faced a real-time example. I was just dealing with
Yeah,
the
great.
banking project, okay, and earlier we started with
Yeah.
Hibernate ORM tool, okay, and then when we like when the queries were very small, then it was very fast and it was working as expected. But when the query got complicated, no, when fetching the data, when it got complicated, the Hibernate, the ORM tool was very slow in comparison with the normal query. If I just hit like select star from like MySQL query if I'm using, so we switched from Hibernate. We have removed the ORM and directly we use MySQL direct query. So this was my real-time example what I have seen it in my and this working style and in my working periods. So I can say that ORM tool can yeah, for something it is better for it is easy for a developer to develop the project very fast. But when you have a problem, when you are trying to deal a problem which is very big, like you are working with a banking project, so better not to go with a ORM tool, because that is, it will lead to a problem at last, not at the beginning. At the beginning, it will go fine, but when the things get more complicated, that time it is creating issues. That's all.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, Raj. It's nice to have a good discussion over here. Yeah, as Raj said, actually here 2 points we can highlight, and one point is, okay, we have to use ORM tool when it is necessary. Okay, when it is a complexity you want to see, using other tools is more complex, okay, than already available tools. That is the simple thing I can say. Yeah, it's fully agreed.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes. Any
Hello?
questions, please? Yeah, you can ask free.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah, Mastan, go ahead, and we come with
Yeah,
Yogesh and Bhaskar later.
Yeah, I have some points on I mean JPA and Hibernate. Okay. See, JPA is just a specification. Okay. There we have set of rules or some kind of set of rules has been defined as part of the JPA. Just provide some kind of API. There is no implementation for that. That means whether you can use an Hibernate as an implementation for JPA specification. Okay, otherwise you can use some other kind of ORM tool or different tool, so that the implementation will be provided for the JPA. You can use JDO or top link or anything. So those are only implementation. Those are actually, dealing with them, hitting the database, and they only write internally some queries or delete queries and update queries. Everything is written by some implementation. That is nothing but Hibernate. So without any implementation like Hibernate or top link, there is no meaningful for JPA. JPA should be just a specification or as a set of rules. Okay, something in the behind Hibernate or top link has to come into picture, and that we need to configure, and Hibernate will take care of actually hitting the database and fetching the data and everything. So second point is, so Hibernate, whether we need to choose Hibernate or top link or JDO, that depends upon your project requirement. So type of the application also, as mentioned by Adav, the complexity of the application and type of the application also. So apart from that, customer also prefer, because there are some licensed tools. For the licensed tool, customer will always prefer, I have the license for this ORM tool, you can always use this tool. It's also based on the customer opinion or customer requirement also. So these are the two more points I'm adding to as part of the JPA and Hibernate.
Okay, Mastan. Actually, you are right. Actually, right tool where see generally always, if you are using normal, not a complex relationship. Okay, if you want to use, feel free to have your own API, and then you go for normal. Okay, JPA, and when you opt for okay, complex structures, you want to go for banking, it depends upon their view and whatever the perspective, whatever the license you are opting, and okay, based on that you can do. Yeah, I fully agree with Mastan, and then we continue with okay, any other questions, please let me know, and we can continue on the next session, because it's taking some time.
No, Mother, only one question.
Yeah.
Mother, only one question. Yeah, Mother. The question is like, see, we have, let's say we have some one-to-one relationship tables are there. So in entity table, without mentioning those relationships, the mapping, still we can achieve the results, right, by using the queries.
Yeah, actually, you can achieve the queries. Yes, you can do it.
Yes. So what is the impact on it? So for example, if I'm not mentioning the entity class itself, the relationship is not mentioning. So still I can go and write my own query to fetch the data from the two tables, right? So how is the impact of it if I'm using the entity in the relationship class itself, or else I'm directly, the relationship is not mentioned in the entity. I'm directly using this query.
See, that is
Is there any
simply,
performance
simply, I can say it as a very big table. Okay, you can, if you perform operations, what will happen? It will be overloaded. Okay, unnecessarily you are hitting for unnecessary data. Okay, and okay, when you make it as a relationship, okay, maybe it's the question itself also just I got a little confused, but okay, if I will answer myself, if you have anything, you can also ask me.
No, my question is very
Yeah,
simple. In the entity class, we are mentioning about the mapping, right?
yeah,
Let's say you are explaining about directory and directory and the location, right? Diary and location you have mentioned about it in
yes,
the
yes,
example,
yes,
right?
yes.
What I'm saying here, so without mentioning about the mapping relationship, right? You have mentioned about how the mapping about the two different tables, right? So what I'm saying, without mentioning about those mapping in entity class, still I can go and fetch the data from the database, right?
You can fetch the data. Just you will have a normal SQL query, and you can execute the SQL query, or else you can also have a separate entity. And okay, but when it will create a complexity when, okay, you want to save some, suppose you want to save with user with orders or some other data all
Okay.
together into one single as a single unit, and you have to you want to perform as a single unit operations, and it will be a bit complex. Okay, the relationship you can
Okay.
see, as you said, is also one point where I can accept it. When, okay, when you want to make individual relationships, okay, you want to call only the particular the table value, okay, and then you can feel free to have it. But when you try to
Yes,
group
yes.
all together into one single unit, like if you are performing
Okay.
operations on
I
one
got it.
account or yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, I got it. So since
So
from your
yeah,
example also, we have two tables, but you have mentioned only one entity, right? So based on that entity class, you are inserting the two different tables and accessing two
yes,
different
yes,
tables
yes,
by
yes,
using the
yes.
map. Okay, I
Yes,
got
you
it.
can
I got
also directly insert the values into the second entity, like location entity directly. There is no, there is, there, and then you can also, when while calling, you can also have a
it. I understand.
relationship and you can have it.
I
There is
understand.
no
I
issue.
understand.
yeah, just to summarize what Madhav said, Bhaskar, what happened? Let's take an example. Suppose we have one table. There are 100 fields that need to be
Yep.
inserted.
Yep.
Okay. So what you will write, insert into table and then table name, and you'll write all the columns name in the query. So just imagine, like if you want to write 100 column name, it is human nature. You will make a mistake, right, while writing the column name in the
Yep.
query. So so no, not to make any mistake, people prefer JPA.
Okay.
What Madhav is teaching us, that is very easy to understand, and you can easily write. Anyway, if there is a chance, like you want to select 100 columns data, then you have to write select star from, and like there are 2000 columns in one
Understood.
table, and you want to select only 1000 of them, then you have to write all the 1000 names.
Yep.
That time it is like problem. JPA solve this type of issue, and same the Madhav has explained to you.
Yeah. 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 Thanks. 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 I'm completely agree with this.
And that also one more thing, just for summarize, suppose you have multiple relationship in a master table, okay, and it is easy to you to maintain, okay, and you can directly perform all operations through the diary class, okay, the diary master class instead of child classes. If you go and perform, if you want to perform many operations on child classes, it will be very difficult. Yeah, okay. And
Guys
second
who
thing,
are not, please make it silent, silence
I can
because
mute everyone, okay, just make sure that, okay, the nice
Okay.
music
Okay.
we are getting. Okay, still we are getting some music.
You are not sharing. Somebody other is sharing. Can you share that to the
Yeah,
screen
I
to
can
us?
share you. Yeah, it's a very difficult worry every time someone is sharing. Okay,
I think Yogesh is hearing.
yeah, and simple thing is like, okay, always when we are designing new applications, you have to make sure that everything is simple. If you make complex, okay, you have to bear the complexities. Okay, some people will design applications like very complex way and they want to create some dependency. There is at the time what will happen, okay, that person is not there, there will be a huge dependency and he only can answer this. If you make the simple relationships like this, okay, if you group it one together and everyone can easily understand. If you ultimately what we are doing, we are just for doing simple relationship with complex is very tough to do, right? Okay, it is time consuming and everything. Okay, instead of that, if you make it as a simple, and it will be easy to you to deploy and it is easy to other people also can understand. Okay, yeah, see when you make a simple relationship, microservice architecture is easy. When you make a complex relationship, microservice architecture will be very tough. That is also one thing I can add it here. And okay, secondly, okay, next thing is okay, just simple, how do we configure this one? It will be easy to you to understand. The already controller everyone knows about it, but the transformation also everyone knows about it. Exception handling I just covered, I will cover at the end of this one-to-one relationship. Now, okay, we directly jump into the properties. Okay, we go and see how Spring Boot works. Okay, see when you specify, okay, this Spring data URL, and okay, internally already available jars were there. Okay, with POM dependency we already added, and if you don't added, if you are not added, by default Spring Boot already added Hibernate and JPA repositories for you. Just when you specify this one, it will automatically load those specific classes and you can ready to use, and you need not to do any configurations. Like if you do your ORM and that may at the time you may needed some additional properties and additional configuration. If you are using simple JPA relationship, only you need to have these minimum configurations, this this 8 lines of properties you need to have. I will explain line by line. Okay, whoever very new, and just one line I can explain. A data source, you know, right, which data source you are going to store it. That means it could be the right now I have given H2 database source URL. It may be a JDBC URL, or it may be some Postgres URL. It could be a MySQL URL, whatever it may be. It will be a very simple line. It will be there, and you have to configure that one. And which type of driver classes? It was thin drivers. Which driver classes you want to use? Okay, those drivers classes you have to specify. And earlier everyone knows about JDBC connection. Okay, at the time we might use a driver and which driver class and which jar you are going to uh, simple, you have to specify which driver class it is belongs to. Okay, each specification whichever they are providing APIs for us to do the JDBC operations, they already given the specifications. You can directly copy from there, and at present I am just using H2 database, and it is simple to use and easy to bring up the services without having any other additional dependencies. Okay, and I will also show you what dependencies we have to add. And second thing is which driver you are going to add it, and the by default username is always will be SA, and password will be always will be blank, because this is a temporary database. It is not a persistent database like Oracle or some MySQL or SQL. It's just a simple database, and whenever you are bringing up application, it will bring up, and when you are closing the application, it will die. Yeah. Okay, in some cases you can also retrieve the past data, but that is not I don't prefer. Okay, always I will use create drop. When I used to create perform a create a drop. Okay, this is the main operations I'm going to do. Okay, when application is bringing up, it will create you enter your table structures, like whatever the entities you created and whatever the entities and those table structures, it will create automatically. And relationship, anyhow JPA relationship we are using to do it. And second thing, And Spring database platform, which platform, okay, which platform it belongs to. Okay, it is a H2 database platform. Which dialect we are going to use it, and this dialect we prefer from this their specification, and we just copy this specification and we keep it here. It could be in a different dialect for different different database types, and just we have to keep that one. And you want to enable your console log, there is one property, and you want to see your console SQL queries and generating how it is generating, and you can also make it as a true. And this property is for, I already specified, this is the main property. When you are bringing up your application, you want to create a tables, and just it will be create, and when you are stopping your container, it will drop all your tables. Okay, someone is joining late, very late. Yeah, second thing, and just you want to view your table structures, everything, and you have to specify this property. Then you can use your console, you can view your table structures in a table format. You can do your suppose you want to do any manual operations, or you want to see how the table structure it looks like, and you can do all these things over here. Okay, okay, when you are using simple relationships, okay, always, okay, when you are learning or something and testing, and you can do it for the H2 database. Okay, if you want to do some complex operations like sequence creation and all the stuff, that also will support, but some very rare operations it will not support. Okay, you have to look for the alternate for that. Yeah, I always prefer to have a H2 database. Yes.
Can you explain me the what's the proper resources files, one application properties file that is containing our databases, and what is the input text, keystore JSK and keystore P112 and server.cr and server.crt?
I'm not clear actually. Can you repeat once again?
Those are commented.
In the resources file.
Okay.
Hello? In the resources file, there is an application properties file.
Yes.
Yeah, only that. We know that file and how to use. What the next file belongs to?
Okay, actually this is for different. Okay, yeah, I'm not using for right now. Okay, okay, this is for, suppose if you want to enable your security like HTTPS, you want to use it. Just I want to enable that one. For the moment, I don't want to explain you security. That's the reason. Just I commented it before going to have it. This is
okay.
Yeah, these are not related to any. It is not related to any JPA. And thing is, like, you will also have a one okay, you want to load, okay, you don't want to create any tables, and just you want to okay, you can also have a one text file over here, .sql file. Okay, data.sql. When you specify data.sql over here, and it will, when application is bringing up, if the table is already presented, and it will load the data into that. Okay, that also there. And end of the session, okay, well, we will have one complete session for these kind of things, how to import the tables and all the stuff. Okay.
No, I joined to the middle one now, so I was confused that what are the file is
it's true. Actually, there is no relationship with this one. Okay, I try to delete this one as well. Yeah.
No, that's okay, fine.
Okay, and second thing already. Okay, just see, for these dependencies already I am going to use it. Just you have to go to the POM, and okay, you have to and the master form actually, if you don't have modules, and just you go to the master form, and just this POM, you will have a one simple dependency. Okay, if you are using Oracle, you have to use Oracle dependency. If you are using MySQL dependency, you have to use. At this moment, I am using H2 database. Just I added H2 database dependency. And okay, and second thing, okay, to make the simple relationship, okay, this is the properties we have to use. I will share you the repository after this session. Okay, what the properties we are going to add it. And second thing,
Madhavan,
yeah. Yes.
Yes, sir. Whenever I'm using this properties file or the application context, say XML file, while passing to the main file, in the main class we are just calling to that connection. Okay. That time I'm getting that file not found error.
Usually you won't get it. It seems
No, yesterday I make one Spring integration Spring integration project,
Okay.
Spring integration plus Hibernate integration.
Mhm.
While developing just like us Spring Boot, and
Mhm.
I developed that project.
Mhm.
While this, how we have just created the application properties file, I have also created the application properties file. You
Okay.
use the SQL database and use the MySQL database. The
Okay.
username and the password and the drivers and the some of the all of the things are
So what?
correct.
No,
But
what
whenever I'm
you get? What issue you are getting? You are not getting
yeah,
file not find out, right? So did
file not found. While the file is available in the that
just
drive also
yeah go and
and that
go,
project.
go and check in the class path that file is visible or not. Okay.
Well, make.
No, there is visible. I check it that.
So if it is visible, you should not get it file
I
not find out. Or otherwise,
yeah.
you might have made a spelling mistake of the class file. That's
No. I check it 4 times. I thought that I have just making a spelling mistakes, or I have just put the file into the some another locations, or I have some calling mistakes. But no, this kind of silly mistakes I had not made here.
Yeah, simple solution for this one is don't spend too much time on that, because you directly go and have in spring.io, download one simple example. While downloading, you just
Yeah,
specify H2 database and all the stuff. Just to download it and
yeah.
copy paste these 4
Okay,
properties, and write on entity and repository. Just do it. Okay, instead of debugging, because it's
okay,
a
okay.
okay, later point of time you can spend while doing other operations, like you can have a number of errors, and then we can solve it, because you don't do any just configuration. It is a
No,
yeah, it is a just simple Maven project. Okay, when you download it, okay, and just to
yeah.
specify already application dot properties, it will come along with this
Yes.
yeah, download. Just make
I
a
had,
var or jar and you
uh,
run it.
whenever I am developing the Spring JDBC examples or Spring Hibernate or GPA examples, so that every examples I am getting that error. While I am developing the software JDBC examples in simple,
Yeah.
I am not getting that kind of an error.
Yeah. See,
So
the
I thought,
summarize just okay. Good to have a discussion. Okay, and just I will summarize this very quick way. Okay, and just in a point
okay,
wise.
okay,
Okay, okay, and first point. Okay, just for to who, because some people are very new. That's why just I'm repeating once again. First point, what we have to do,
okay,
and we have to define entity, and then we have to write a master class, and second, write a
repository.
child class, and make a relationship. Okay, and make okay child class as a owner, as with join by column, and second, write a repository, and if you want to customize this, customize it, and second, third one is write an entity, write a DAO, and go and add a POM dependencies. First you add a POM dependencies, that is best practice.
Yeah. Make it second.
At last you come to have and write in a properties, because you are going to run it, right? Update your application dot properties.
Okay.
And it is very simple. Okay, to make simple application, always follow this simple application. You can directly deploy into the production without having any issues, because you are not doing anything. Just you are written here. What you did, you just written in an entity and master class. You have not written any other configurations also. Just you are updating this one, and you are using H2 database. Yeah, just you can go and deploy it. If you are using H2, there you can do it. Or else, if you are using Oracle Cloud or something, you can update the properties, and just it is also minimal properties. Okay, suppose now you are H2. Okay, and okay, you want to migrate to MySQL.
Yes.
Okay, what you need to do? You need not to do any other these changes. Okay, except this. Okay, I can differentiate with using color. Okay, and only thing is you have to do these two changes. Form.dependency changes
Form
and
dependencies and application properties.
application.properties.
And application
Okay, this
properties.
see, these are very easy to find in their specification. If you are using Postgres, they might have given this application.properties now itself, or else Spring properties also you can look. Okay, there is a Spring properties class will be there, and you can have all properties over there. Yeah. That's all. It is very simple relationship, and you can do it and you can perform. Now we go for one to many. Okay, if you understand one to one very clearly, one to many is very simple. It is a matter of seconds.
Okay.
In the meantime, if you have any questions, please ask me. Just we can move into the one to many relationship now.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, I'm using Postgre dialect for my project, and I had a use case. I need to save the data in partitions, not directly into the data. So, do we have any like a partition kind of thing, like not directly save all in JPA repository?
Sorry.
Yeah, we are extending that JPA repository, right?
Yes.
So in that we have many methods like the inbuilt implementations of save all. So it will what it does is when the data object that we give, it extracts and save the results right into the table.
Yes.
So like the ways, do we have any partition kind of thing, like if we need to save the data in a partition way? So
actually, maybe I was
table,
not aware of that one. Okay. Okay. If
but
I found anything.
Other way, but I try to find any inbuilt methods in JPA. So I didn't get any kind of methods. So in other way, I have done it.
Yeah, in group, if anyone they can also answer you if you already having experience, because I never used this partition of Postgres SQL kind of thing, because I'm using Oracle database. Okay, that is fine.
Okay. This I used to handle in like with Spark Scala. We have different methods. Using those methods, I used to handle it. But when it comes to this microservices with this Java and Spring Boot, all these things.
Okay.
So this is the second project, and this is the use case what I.
Okay,
So,
you can contact me at a later point of time. Okay, if I can also spend some time and we can also solve it if you really need help.
Yeah, I have already done it, but I need like any inbuilt, like any direct methods. I customize the code and to override
JPA, we have only 4 or 5 kind of implementations only, interfaces only, but I don't see any partition kind of interface over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And okay, that's all. Okay, now we go for the one-to-many relationship. And one-to-many relationship is a very simple relationship as and common relationship over applications. Already explained couple of minutes back, like how the diary and location. Now I will change it to very simple way, and diary and event. Okay, and event ID and event name. Okay. Event name can be like shopping or something, and or walking, discussing. Okay, D1, D2, and D3. And okay, here the relationship is there is no change. Okay, and just I'm adding additional just one more table, and already previously table it is there. Okay, and this is for.
Today's session is about relationships, sir. One to one,
yes,
one to many, many to one.
Yeah, actually it took long time.
Hibernate.
Not Hibernate, JPA.
JPA, okay.
Yeah. Okay, later. And okay, second thing is like D1, D2, and D3. And these are the entries we are giving. And okay, here the event and the location table also there already. Okay, location is one-to-one relationship. Already we discussed. And event is one-to-many relationship. And one diary can have multiple events. Like for example, and this is a D1. How do we say multiple relationship here? Multiple. See, one event have. Okay, here also I am making it as a owner as event. Okay, always I will prefer as a relationship owner will be child classes, and the master will be independent class. Okay, we go and see this example over there. Okay, here diary is a master class. Now already I specified okay, one-to-one relationship over here. Okay, most common relationship is one to many, because we will always have a many relationship with the master table. Okay, here the simple same as one-to-one relationship. Okay, the only thing is you need to specify. Okay, by default it will be the eager. By default it will be the eager. You want to make it as a lazy, you can make it as a lazy one to many. And here then you want to specify just one to many relationship. You have to specify. That's it. And if you go and and you have to make it as a one set of events. And it could be any for example, in your scenario it could be any class that should be have a set utility written. And when you specify this list of entities, and when you specify one to many, that's enough. And when you go and have a event class, and here you have to specify again many to one. Here the relationship is earlier is one to one. Here many to one. And you can also specify your fetch type eager or lazy. Okay, and okay, I can explain what is the benefit of user and lazy. And here just I want to make you a simple relationship. And here also I specified I want to make this diary as a master class, and event as a ownership for this relationship. And okay, when you specify this join by column, that's it. And okay, there is no other point over here to make a relationship. Just you can simply by using these two lines you can make a relationship and diary, and we can have this set of events. And then and one to many relationship you have to specify, and mapped by it could be the small letter case sensitive of this master class. And when you do this one, the relationship will be that's all. Okay, and okay, when you try to do store the relationships, and I can show you how do we store the events in a controller by one-to-one, one-to-many relationship altogether. I cover all the topics together in this session itself. Second point, just I'm going to highlight over here. And when you specify relationship, and already last session I covered more details on how to do this conversion, like presentation layer. Okay, if you have any if you have any data classes, and how do we convert in easy way, and I already specified it. Okay, you can have a very less code and you can convert in this one. You have to write a similar code. How do we do for the entity, and just same names if you use it, and you can map it easy way by using model mappers. And you have to define this your 3 classes again, to make sure that okay, these annotations I used for only for validation example. Okay, you can, generally you will see this entity classes like this. Okay, data classes like this, and with simple data. And this is a master class, and just okay, you can use your child classes over here. And these are the annotations you use for validation when you are using front end validation. And by default errors you can throw it by using this one. You don't have a proper data and it will throw you an error. Okay, and second thing, and object mapper utils. Okay, I already explained. If you use this one, you can easily convert your entire data model objects to the data classes, data objects to the model classes, like this, vice versa. And I'm going to use the same yeah. Okay, see, first create diary event. Just I will explain here. I created one entity class. Okay, and just first I'm trying to get the values from the front end. Okay, here it will come as a diary, as a data object. Okay, when you try to receive diary class, and what we are doing is we are converting this diary class to entity class. Okay, here it's by using this simple line. Okay, we convert into the entity class, data class to entity class. And just yeah, by using this single line, we can convert our entire data classes into the entity classes. And second thing, just okay, you want to set your other child classes. Okay, you can set your child classes. And okay, each and every event class, okay, because it is one to many relationship, you have to pass the your master class as an master class objects to every class. Then only it will be, the relationship will be very stronger. And you can see, without having any errors, you can store the data into the database. See here
Madhav, you have been muted.
Okay, okay, hello, sorry, actually when I was muted, I don't know. Okay, by mistake it was muted. Okay, first thing is like you want to make your first you have to convert your data classes to entity classes by using this simple line. Okay, by using this simple line you can convert your entire data classes into the entity classes. And once you converted the entity classes, you have to make sure that the relationship is happening. Okay, how do we say that? Yeah.
Madhav, you are not representing.
Yes. Yeah. Oh,
It's not
again, it is
representing.
not representing. Okay. Someone is presenting again. Yeah. You can see now, right? Yeah,
Yes.
I think. See here, you want to see the earlier we created the data tables and entity tables and relationship. Now we are going to how to use it is the point I am going to tell you. And here you want to make the relationship child as a owner. Okay, always you have to pass your entity class to the child when we are saving it. That is one point you are going to remember. If you don't save it, set it, there will not be any relationship because the child class doesn't know about who is the owner. Then now you have to pass, you pass who is the owner. And here I'm specifying to the this entity class. Okay, I will mute someone. Yeah, here you have to specify. Okay, hello okay, hello location. Okay, just I'm going to I'm going to set you as a owner. Set you as a owner. Then I'm passing entity direct in diary class master class as an value for this setting the value. And then okay, this line will understand. Okay, okay, I'm the owner and I have to behave and the relationship should happen. If you don't specify this one, there will not be any relationship and you will be having individual entities and without having primary key. Yeah, then there will there you cannot achieve any relationship. And here also similar way. Okay, and okay, each and every entity you are getting from the front end, and you have to set your primary okay, uh, here already we converted into the entity, right? Now we are passing the relationship. Now each and every event, and you have to pass your master class as an input, and then the relationship will happen, and each and every table will be stored with the relationships. Now we see, remember, you always should, you always have to pass your owner. Okay, okay, who is going to be having, it could be, it's depend upon your implementation. Sometimes you have to make it as a your diary class as a owner, and at the time you have to set the location values relationship over there, and vice versa it will be there. Here the point you have to remember always, and you have to set the ownership. And ownership, how do we set is by using this line we can set the ownership. Okay.
Sorry for the interruption. I didn't get the clear context of the owner. So what do you mean to owner? I didn't get this. You mean to say that master table or child table? What is it, owner?
Ownership, who is having ownership. Suppose I already told you like child table. Here I specified. Okay, here I am bearing ownership. Event is a, see, suppose I am an event and I am owning the relationship with master. And when I say diary ID. Okay, and how do I get this diary ID? Okay,
who have a foreign key relationship, they are the owner, is it like that?
Yes, currently I always prefer whoever having foreign key relationship, that is the owner. Okay, now event is the owner. Okay, I'm passing it as a, okay, how do okay, event is a owner.
Here I have here this line, the particular 40 line, right? I have a doubt here. See,
yeah,
you are getting a diary entity dot get location. Again, you have said diary as a diary entity.
Yeah, that's here also location also you see, if you see the location also it's having I made it as a owner owner, right? And location, and suppose here the only location is there. Some tables it will have hundreds of tables. Okay, at the time what will be always okay, whenever you are trying to save where is this Okay, when you are trying to save this value, okay, you should always pass main entity into this one. Okay, and then then automatically this ID, when it will take from this, okay, when it is trying to create a entity into the database, okay, first time, okay, the same ID it will pass into these two. See this highlighted information, you can also see.
Okay.
I can also say shift, how to shift. Yeah, see, this diary, highlighted diary entity, we are passing each and every relationship, correct, right? First we converted into diary entity, and that diary entity we are passing into each and every relationship. That means whoever ownership, having their ownership, and okay, which owner, which entity they want to make it as a relationship, then that entity here in these two cases, diary entity is a owner, correct, right?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Here I'm getting ownership, correct. I got an ownership now, and just I'm saving the data into the database, the values into the database. Now the relationship is fine now. Yeah.
Okay.
And
So the first table you are setting is a 1-to-1, and then
yeah,
the second table you are
second
setting
table
is
is
a
one to many. One to many.
So okay. So the
One to
vice
one,
order you are.
and here, yeah, here one to many.
Okay.
Okay, one to many, and see, since already we converted the using model mappers, or else you might have some business logic over here to convert the setters and getters. Okay, I don't use those setters getters directly. I'm converting it now. One to many. Now just I'm iterating it, and again with for loop and for each, and I'm just setting this entity value to the for each and every event. Then each and every event will having single ID. Suppose if I am saving one diary event, okay, with this one, and okay, when I saved this one, automatically this diary event only it will save. Next time if I save another diary event next day, okay, next entry will be there with that primary key. Okay, D1 is here. D1 is the primary key, and here if you see this one is a okay, event. I can say it is not shopping. I already saved it on somewhere. Okay, I have done Control Z, I guess so.
Yeah, it's okay.
Event name. Event name will be walking or something. Walking. And reading, party, anything. Okay, for all this one, the entity will be the relationship owner ID will be D1. And second day, if you commit and if you have an entity entry, and it will be the D2. You might have repetitive activities on the same thing, and this it will be the D2. Second day or second entry on the same day, you can also have multiple diaries as well, right? Yeah. And second point, okay, just to make very quick, okay, we took very long at initial time, okay, that's okay. Yeah, okay, you want to make your own customization, okay, something you want to do, okay, what you do, that is a point. Just I'm raising, there will be a okay, you want to do some search operations commonly used, right? When you okay, now we stored the data, now we have to retrieve is also possible. Retrieve will be in two different ways. Okay, retrieving bulk values altogether already repository is supporting. Suppose I want to do some percentage search. Suppose suppose training is there, under training TR, whoever whatever the entries available with the TR, or events starting with walk, or sometimes I will give walking, sometimes I will give walk, sometimes I will give W, some spelling mistake I do. Okay, all together if you want to do WA, right? With it starting with the WA word, and you can want to filter all the entities, and how do you do that is a search operation, I can say. Search by can be anything. Search by order time, search term, order. Search term can be anything. Okay. Any value you can search it from the database. How do we design? First, that actually you have to create your base specification. I always okay, I always will split two ways: base business logic and implementation. Okay, this is a base business logic. Okay, specification. When you, this is abstract class, just I am trying to write it, and just I am writing two methods. Okay, okay, one get filter and another one is contains lowercase or something. Okay, you can write an number of methods over there here. Okay, but at this moment I am just base specification. I'm using this basic search operation, and when you you have to implement this basic search extend. You have to extend this basic specification because it is an abstract class. You have to implement all these things. You can also implement over there because it is an abstract tag. There is no limited. Okay, you can also have an implementation over here, but I prefer to have it over here at this time. Okay, you can perform your search operations over here. Now I am doing the get filter operation. Okay, I am passing whatever the search objects from the front end. I can show you. Okay, when it comes to here, and okay, this is the condition. Okay, which condition you want to go into perform. Okay, okay, which condition I'm going to perform over here? The where condition. When you specify where condition, okay, and if you go and check this where condition, and what we are doing, we are returning on specification. Okay, I'm correct, right? I'm talking about now specification. Okay, this specification. Okay, if you see this in interface, okay, this interface will do the n number of operations. Okay, it will convert in, it will do the predicate operation and lot more over there. Okay, see here, not operation, where operation and operation. Generally, whoever earlier worked for the SQL operations like where and where conditions, these specifications they can easily understand. Okay, when I use this specification, okay, now I am returning as a specification result. Okay, and okay, there is another motion, just here you can write your own business logic, but I made it as a one more additional method. Okay, to make it is very clear. Okay, what I am doing, just I am calling this specification, and when I try to call this specification, okay, okay, these are the parameters specification will accept, like root is a root class, and query, which query you are going to, okay, and criteria, which criteria you are going to do it. Okay, and these three are the parameters we are passing, and this is a Java 8 method. Okay, and when I'm directly implementing over here for this interface. Okay, and this is the implementation, and what I'm passing is just this criteria builder. With this criteria builder, and I'm passing which one I'm going to mainly pass the value. Okay, here this very whoever learning very new, it will be very tough to them to understand. Just to make focus on this one. Okay, cb dot equal, what I'm doing is equal operation I'm performing, and what equal operation I'm doing it. Okay, I'm passing only this value. Okay, I'm passing this value. Okay, I'm converting into the lower case of the lower case. I'm converting the whatever the pass values I'm passing, and I'm converting into the lower case, and which attribute I'm going to get it. Suppose it is a common class. It is representing for any criteria. Here root could be, right now it is a diary. Sometimes it will be event. Sometimes it will be a location. It could be anything. Okay, whichever class you are passing, this is a common implementation. Whenever you are trying to pass this common implementation attribute, okay, it will be checking in that suppose here you are performing diary. Okay, it will look for the diary event, and the diary, from the diary it will try to get which attribute you are going to filter it out. Okay, it will be, suppose for example, it will be like this: diary where which attribute also you are dynamically maintaining. Okay, here if you pass the attribute root dot get, which suppose root dot get for attribute, if you see this entity, right, we can have a number of attributes. Okay, for example, I can just a simple example, status I can say, because if you have this, if you go for this relationship, it will be a object, right? It will be tough to understand. Okay, where status equals to, and what are the value you are passing it. Okay, that is the matter. Okay, status equals to 1. Okay, select here, it will be there, select star from diary. Diary is a table, it could be any, right now I am just making it as a diary, and select star from table where condition, and which attribute you are going to set it. Okay, right now okay, I'm making it as a simple relationship. You want to make the complex relationship, you want to use this search operation, please let me know. I can also share you on complex example. For this moment, this is very simple operation. I'm doing it for the single attributes, not for the objects. It could be case id for okay, and in dynamically, if you pass this attribute as a case id, okay, where this attribute is coming from, okay, I can get it from the search term, search order, search by field. Okay, from here I am getting it. Okay, where, and here case id, id equals to 1. Okay, status equals to 1. It will filter all the statuses with 1, and it will filter with all statuses with okay, with case id 1. Suppose if you have okay, case id search, you want to perform the case id search. Okay, sometimes it will be 10 also, right? 1 it will be there. Okay, 100 also 1 is there, 10 also 1 is there, 1000 also 1 is there. Which case id whatever 21 also 1 is there. All filters it will be there. Okay, it will be performing like operation where the case id like 1 percentage 1 percentage like operation it will perform, and it will give like where case id like. It will perform like this. If you have a query knowledge, you can easily understand, you can do it. Okay, I will summarize one more time because it will be a bit confusing. Okay, why we need to have a specification, I can save it, I can tell to you. Okay, 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 just giving one more repeating once again, just I will give why we need to have a specification, why need to have a this class. Suppose you will have a dashboard, okay, and dashboard will have you are displaying, okay, and all tables over there, and you want to perform search operation. Okay, there will be filters there, right? Each and every time when you see this filters, and I can show you some examples. Each and every having, suppose here the filter is there, suppose here you want to do some search operation or something, here it is not there, I guess so. Yeah, you see, consider this right side, you add people were there, right? Okay, here the below are the different